how about them tops, son?
All day, SEC boys. SEC, they supposed to be SEC. Where's the other, baby?
You're listening to the Red Out Podcast.
Welcome into another Red Out Podcast. I'm Jake.
Hey, Devin in the house, and we got Ross.
Hey, guys.
And Jared.
What up?
We got an almost full house tonight. It's
we're literally at capacity. We don't have enough speakers to do anyone else.
I do have one more speaker. I do. I have gotten that. I did go out. I got my another $11 speaker from Target, and I got another computer. And if Matt was available, we would have Matt on here too, because this is a historic week for Hilltopper fans.
That's true.
Are you sure? I don't think we have anything to talk about this week. I mean, nothing's really happened.
Has anything happened in the state of Kentucky? I can't.
Oh yeah, we hired Travis. Tyson Helton.
Yes,
yeah,
we
yeah.
did do that.
Oh yeah.
I would like to state for the record, I knew as soon as I said Travis in the most previous podcast that we had that it was Tyson, and I saw him in person, and I did not call him Travis, so I'm proud of myself.
How many times? I haven't listened to the whole thing. How many times did you call him Travis?
Once.
Okay, so you just
one
said one time. You guys should have just let it go the whole time.
I didn't say a word.
Coach Helton from now on.
Exactly. I didn't say it. Ross was like, it's Tyson. and I was like, and then I just ignored it, and I just said, yeah, Tyson Helton, blah, blah, blah. He seems to be the next one. And Jared texted me later and was like, I can't believe I said that.
I'm just going to call him Travis from now on.
I like it. And follow Travis Helton on Twitter.
Yeah, right. I heard he's a really, really awesome dude.
Yeah, he's like his brother or something.
His cousin, third cousin, twice removed.
Something like that.
Side.
Yeah. So, winners, losers this week. NC State versus North Carolina. I didn't mention this in our pregame.
Ooh, yeah, this was intense.
No idea that
they had a fight. They had a fight in their rivalry week, and several seniors got suspended for the next week's game. For, what was that, North Carolina, South Carolina game? Is that this week? I don't know.
NC State's playing East Carolina, I think.
Okay, here we go.
There you go.
There we go. Okay.
You got it.
For your enjoyment.
But the greatest, though, I don't know if you guys saw the LSU and Texas A&M game, but that was incredible. 7 overtimes, final score of 74-72, and one of the people on LSU's coaching staff started fighting, I think it was the nephew of Jimbo Fisher after the game.
Dude, Crackthorpe got punched in the face.
Damian Craig and Crackthorpe, the former Louisville head coach, who has a pacemaker. And apparently that messed up his pacemaker and he had to go to the hospital after.
Yeah, he got punched in the face, didn't he?
No, in the stomach where his pacemaker
he got punched. Okay.
Well, that makes sense.
That does make
sense.
sense.
Not in the stomach, in the chest, whatever.
But still, golly.
Yeah.
Well, they can put the pacemaker in the stomach. For my work, I have to know that.
Medical expert, dead right?
Yeah.
You deal with dead people. Why do you
yes.
not know where the pacemakers are?
Because pacemakers explode. And if the person's going to be cremated... Yes. Okay, for those of y'all, I don't really talk about this on the show, but I am a funeral director in the state of Kentucky.
He's the Undertaker.
Yes, so I am #the Undertaker. When somebody decides to be cremated, if the individual has a pacemaker, then we have to remove it. If you do not, the pacemaker has a battery on it, and this battery is God knows how strong, but it is literally like a shotgun exploding. If it goes into what's called the retort, which is the crematory, if it goes into the, quote, oven, then it will explode.
That's awesome.
Do not Google that.
The more you know.
The more you know, the more prepared you are.
Thank you for that mental image, by the way.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Pop.
You're welcome. So, Texas Southern, which Jake and I talked about last year, beat Oregon. Now, for the Towel Rack people who are listening, the Texas Southern is the team who basically faced a gauntlet last year and played all the Power 5 teams they could.
It was super funny because the first part of their non-con read like a Final Four. It was we're going to play Duke, and we're going to play Kansas, and we're going to play A&M, and then we're going to go play. They had one of the strongest strength of schedules for the non-con.
Yes.
And they ended up...
They're so broke that they've got to do that to stay afloat.
Exactly. Well, they do that, yeah. Like you said, Ross, they do it for the money.
Well, and the wild thing was, we were they're obviously, they suck, bless their hearts, and they're not going to be able to do anything. And sure enough, they end up winning their conference tournament and went to the NCAA last year.
Yes, they did.
And they just upset Oregon like a couple of days ago.
They beat Oregon.
They beat Baylor before that, too.
There you go.
Yeah, which is wild.
They beat...
Fun fact, former LSU coach Johnny Jones coaches that team.
No
Texas
kidding.
Southern, really?
Yeah, he replaced Mike Davis.
Man, the fun things we learn on this show.
Johnny Jones.
But yeah, Texas Southern is another winner for me.
Purdue is a winner.
Purdue is a
tonight.
winner tonight, yes. I was just getting to that. UK beat Louisville 56-10 in football this past week. So that makes Louisville kind of a double loser tonight, as it was just announced that Jeff Brom ain't going nowhere. I think that was almost a quote. Yeah, all the Louisville fans' minds are exploding. I think Louisville is going crazy. Lexington is burning couches.
They probably are.
They really are.
Play them
Yes, because they would have gotten smacked.
eventually.
Several years in a row, they'd got smacked. Jake, what are your thoughts on Jeff staying at Purdue?
I mean, again, so my winner obviously is Purdue. My loser isn't necessarily just Louisville, but a certain individual in Louisville, Mr. Vince Tyree. I think he is the loser in all of this because he didn't come swinging hard enough. Now, maybe he knows financials that we're all not aware of, and that's fine. I don't think you need to bankrupt your school just to go get Jeff Brom, but I am surprised that they did not offer enough over what Purdue was offering to get him to come down. I know he wasn't going to take a hometown discount or anything like that, but you would think that he would come swinging with a big enough bag to get him to come home, and that just didn't happen. And that's just, it's still blowing. Because like I said, my secondary rooting interest since I graduated from U of L from law school, that's the cards for me. And I was just like, I thought this was a no-brainer. You come home, you were literally the Messiah. Ross, you can back me up on that. You're a secondary Louisville fan. Wasn't this supposed to be the culmination of everything?
Let's see. We may have some difficulty here with Ross.
I hate to... Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Go ahead, buddy.
You broke out there for a little while.
Sorry. Yeah, I mean, I'm a Louisville football season ticket holder because you're driving, 2 hours each way every week.
He's so dead. They're gonna call him back.
Yeah, we'll call him right back. Just muted a little bit.
I did hear from a source though that Jeff Brom was actually chained in the basement of the athletic director of Purdue until he either agreed to stay at Purdue or the job was taken in Louisville. So I mean, for what it's worth.
For what it's worth, yeah, I saw that too. I don't know where you got it, but I did hear it.
Well, I mean, from what I've heard, it was kind of apples to apples as far as that goes. Turn on sound.
Yeah, I gotta unmute Ross. I didn't want the phone ringing. Hey, Ross, you there?
Yeah.
There we go.
Where did I leave off?
Literally, just you sounded like you were having a stroke. I don't know.
I think you were going through a tunnel.
Okay, I'll be quick. I think I don't think it was money. I think it was the factor of the how bad Petrino ruined their program and the fact that he was loyal to Purdue and those guys. I don't think Vince Tyree lowballed him. I think it was probably something else. And it's just shocking. I think everybody. I think we had our group chat thing and everyone was very diverse fan bases, whatever, and was we thought it was a done deal. So it's crazy.
That's wild.
Completely agree. I think it was, like I just said, Ross, I think it was apples to apples. Louisville kind of offered the same, I guess, as Purdue. And props to Purdue for popping up the money to just be they can't, we've got the team, we've got the steam, kind of thing.
$6 million contract.
Is that what's coming out right now?
Yeah, that's what's coming out.
Per year?
I said, besides Meyer and Harbaugh, he'll be the third highest paid coach in the Big Ten now.
Yeah, that win against Ohio State's going to pay some dividends for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And, of course, I've got family members who were trying to argue with me that the win against Ohio State wasn't that much because they're in an off year, but that doesn't matter because it's still Ohio State.
It's still Ohio State. Nobody
Yeah,
cares.
they're number what, 6 in the playoff rankings?
Yeah, exactly.
That's a big loser that we didn't talk about. Michigan just getting handed to them by Ohio State.
Yes.
Right. Every year, it seems like. Every year.
So does...
At least with Harbaugh.
Yeah, him and them khakis, it just can't handle...
So does Harbaugh... Is Harbaugh on the hot seat?
I don't know. He's a favorite
With
son of
diehard Michigan fans, I would say he is, because all that matters to them is beating Ohio State, and plus, like, getting into the playoff would be a good thing too. So, I mean, yeah, that's pretty bad. I think it's like the last 6 years they've lost to Ohio State, so it's been a while.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
10-2, Power 6 bowl. I mean, I don't think he's going to get fired this year, but I think that, definitely he's got to have that breakthrough sooner or later. I mean, if, let's say, he goes 8-4 one year and loses, gets blown again, it's a serious question.
Yeah, completely agree.
I don't know anything about Big Ten football, I'll be real honest.
I don't
with
either.
you.
I mean...
I know that I like how insane Harbaugh is, and he talks about not eating chicken because it'll make you weak, and you got to drink. And does he drink milk or does he not drink milk? What is the thing with milk? He's got something with milk.
He goes to the steakhouse and orders milk, and he wears the $20 doctor's khakis and
everywhere. Yeah. Which I can't say anything. I've probably got a pair of those.
He is he's a different dude. I mean,
he's a crazy person. It's okay to say it. He's a crazy
him
person.
and his brother. Him and his brother volunteered in the early '90s to help Western, coaching.
Yeah, one of them recruited for a year.
They recruited for Western. So I mean, I can't complain.
They're funny. I mean, he's a funny SOB.
Well, I guess big winner loser tonight is Mike Sanford. Winner because he's getting paid. Loser because he lost his job.
Yeah.
Hate it for the guy. Best wishes to him and his family. I hope everything works out, but it's been coming. And the announcement came Sunday. He got canned at 2. Coaches were told at 3. His father and brother-in-law was canned at 3. And then the team was told at 4, which, from what I've heard and what Todd Stewart said in the press conference he had, those 2 were fired just because it was going to be awkward.
You can't keep them on staff.
Yeah, you can't keep them on staff, and I mean, if you fire them, then the other coach is going to be like, well, I mean, if you kept them, the other coach is going to be like, why? Now I've got to fire them because I don't think Senior was worth a flip. I'm sorry, I don't know if Mitchell was really any good either. As far as I'm concerned, I think everybody on staff should be sweating, but it's just me.
Well, I mean, Helton. It was funny when they asked him that because he actually was pretty straight to the point. Because somebody in that press conference asked, what are you going to do with the current staff? And he's like, well, if they're good coaches, we'll keep them. And if they're bad coaches, we will have to reevaluate, which is code for I'm firing everyone.
Well,
yeah, and it was smart to not name any names either because literally all of them were in the press conference because I was there yesterday and talked to a few of them. So, yeah, that would have been awkward.
Yeah,
see him in the back. He's not coming back. So, y'all be sure to say bye on the way out.
You gone, and you gone, and you gone. See ya. Get out.
Well, you can pry into some of the rumors, though, that, I mean, there is rumors that a couple are going to be kept on staff. We can get onto that here in a minute, but, heard White might be kept, or
okay.
maybe, who's the guy from Franklin, Jared?
DeBerry.
Jamie DeBerry, yep.
He could be kept, so, I mean, I wouldn't put it past them, maybe as recruiters or continuity issue, but, I mean, he said, the one quote I heard on that part was like, I was an assistant too, and somebody kept me when the previous coach got fired at UAB, so I wouldn't be shocked if that happens.
My thing is, with the coaching staff, I don't think White needs to be the defensive coordinator. I think he's a good coach, he's a good person, DeBerry's good special teams coach or whatever. But if I kept White, I wouldn't make him the D coordinator. He would fall back to DBs or outside linebackers. I can't remember what he coached, but of course, some of the reasons Todd cited was the bowl game last year, Georgia State.
I was there. That was awful.
Yes, I completely agree. I think everybody quit, and I think we've talked about it before. I think he alienated the locker room, and the seniors that were there were like, F this dude. We're done.
You're done and we don't like you.
Yeah, we don't like you. We don't care if you win because this is just helping you right now.
Which is kind of sad, right? Because on the one hand, you feel sorry for the dude who you've got a lot of production players who you need to step up to, kind of support you in your transitional year to help recruiting, all that stuff. But at the same time, I can understand the frustration of a team that was so used to the winning ways and winning in a certain way and then having somebody treated as a rebuild and, maybe not recognizing your value or your contributions as much. It kind of just sucked all around.
I agree. Of course, Todd decided the 3 straight bowl games would have been freaking awesome, which I agree, saying that only 9 programs in history have ever done that. And
it would have
like,
been good to continue
wow.
the streak.
I agree.
Well, and you want to know what the end of last season, you sat at 5-2 and you stumbled to a 6-6 finish, and then you had those last couple games where you could have clinched a winning season to go back to 7-8 winning seasons in a row, and then you just pee down your leg against FIU and Georgia State. I mean, it was basically, hey, I don't have enough motivation and pride to get the team behind me on a very attainable goal. And like I wrote in that article a month ago, he did himself no favors by underachieving with the veteran team last year.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. I think the veteran team helped push him to the 500 record, and obviously he couldn't maintain it this year because he ain't here no more.
Well, I mean, that was the one thing. It always ticked me off. Everybody was like, well, this is what happened. They were talking about, like, Coach Stoops, because they're like, well, this is what happens if you are patient with the coach. He gets success. I was like, well, I need you to calm down because there are 2 problems with that. One, he inherited garbage.
Yeah,
so
literal garbage.
Start there. And 2, it took him forever to get to what everybody else would consider a successful season, like 8-9 wins, whereas Western had a good team, a veteran team with plenty of talent.
Two conference championships coming off that, too.
I mean, 2 NFL draft picks, a guy who's playing in the NFL now, tight end, had that, and then, like Ross said, you went TT down your leg.
Literally, I mean...
It would have been funny if
people would have bought 8-5 last year. I think most reasonable fans, that's, the national media, when they're commenting on why would Little Western Kentucky fire a coach after in their second season and blah, 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 questioning it. I think a lot of that was, spent by Sanford. Like, they were saying that all the Western fans were expecting 10 wins. I think people could buy a transition period. At the end of the day, what did Sanford in was underachieving last year and showing 0 growth throughout the course of this year before it was too late. And 2 good first halves where you hung on in the second half, both games, wasn't enough to keep his job. And I applaud Todd Stewart for, realizing, it's not going to get better. We've got to do this. We're 129 and 130 in whichever Sagarin rankings or whichever one it was. I think that was like, I just wanted to I was just clapping to myself when I heard that.
I was too. When I was really surprised. I mean, of course, I'm not going to go through this entire list, but some of the things he said. Sometimes things don't work out, which is true.
Yeah.
I think he really wanted Mike Sanford to work out. And
you always do. You don't want to look bad.
No.
At the end of the day, this is. Todd hired the guy.
Yeah.
So the fact that he failed, it's not obviously the on-field performance, obviously not Todd's fault.
Yeah.
But when you hire an employee to do a job and they can't do a job, that does reflect poorly on you as a manager.
Well,
so it does with Todd. And like I said, it doesn't always work out, and that's
No.
fine. But he wanted this to be. You don't hire somebody hoping he wanted him to succeed, but he just knew it wasn't going to happen. And that's the question I posed to you two. Like, when do you think he made this call? Because I'm thinking he's been sitting on this decision, that he's known he was going to fire Mike Sanford for well over a month.
I think it was Utah.
Probably since at least the Charlotte game, I would say. That was probably the big turning point.
Because he cited
for a lot
the
of people.
Charlotte game as the worst performance,
He cited Charlotte as the worst performance, and I agreed. He mentioned Maine. He mentioned attendance at UTEP.
Yeah.
Which
Old Dominion, I think, had to have something to do with it, too, a little bit.
Yeah,
so what we're saying is, most of the season...
Yes. And, of course, he cited it. Social media was not a factor, but I was like... of course, all of our complaints were listed, except for the Sagarin rating, which I was like, wow.
Oh, it was so bad, I didn't even realize it was that bad,
Yeah, I think everybody else was the same way.
It's like, I know we stink, but are we really that bad? Oh, yes, we are. Good.
Yeah, I think, but what you're saying, though, with Todd, my big thing is with Todd, he literally picked this, quote, puppy up, and then when he got rabies, he took him out and put him down like Old Yeller.
Yeah,
but that's his job, right?
And that's the job of an athletic director. And sometimes it just sucks. So you just gotta...
Yep. And I do think one thing was really funny for me, and I noted it, was when they mentioned what Brad said on Twitter. that if he won both the final 2 games, that he would have been safe.
And he was like, nah.
He literally looked shocked when he heard that. Because he was like, no, that doesn't even make sense. Why would I do that?
That's dumb.
He's like...
Which is what we all thought. We were like, why would you throw away 2 seasons of data for 2 games?
Exactly.
Ross, I feel like you said that in the group chat. It was like, that's dumb.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know what I am happy about those last 2 games? I'm happy for the players. I'm happy for, DeAndre Furby playing his butt off the last 2 weeks. And,
seeing Ferb back was so good.
With the touchdown. That was awesome.
Yes. Loved Ferb. He's probably one of my more favorites. Him, Mike Wandine's he's a great tight end. Love the hands on that guy. Is he a senior or is he a redshirt junior?
Yeah, he was a JUCO transfer, unfortunately.
So, Jared, you kind of been quiet over there. What do you think as far as this firing and everything goes?
I mean, it was definitely the right decision. I mean, I know the buyout kind of sucks, but thankfully we were able to kind of still have some money to cover that. But I really like what Stewart did because he kind of owned up to it and made the right decision knowing that there wasn't going to be much progress made with Sanford and had to kick him to the curb, essentially. But I mean, it also shows an important thing to me through all of this is that we don't accept mediocrity anymore because, say, this would have happened before the conference championships and everything, sure, he probably would have got a pass on this year and came back for a third. But going off of those 2 back-to-back conference championships and having a losing record like this should be unacceptable. And I think that he showed that to everybody, too, saying that if you come to coach at Western Kentucky, you're going to win, or else.
Yeah, or else I'm going to put you down, son.
I mean, it's just part of it. I mean, I go back to this, and I know there's been some talk about, maybe some of us particularly, maybe me or maybe Matt, were too heavy-handed with Sanford or the critique of the performance on the field this year. To which I will say, look, I ain't got nothing against the dude. He's a good dude.
Yep.
But if you're paid a premium to do a job, and then you cannot do the job that you were paid to do, I'm not going to lie or pull punches and say, oh, well, it'll be fine. No, it's not going to be fine. I'm sorry.
We're not.
He's the youngest coach in FBS. Let's give him a break. Let's let him learn on the job. I mean...
As for the people for the media people who talk like that, I'm just going to say, get off your knees, okay? Yeah. You know what? You went to IU rivals, just leave it out, okay? You can't follow him everywhere, so he's gone now. Hopefully you and him and his wife can shack up somewhere is all I got to say to that. Jeff Brom, we got a $900,000 buyout. Bobby Petrino, we got $1.2 million. And Michelle Hurd, which all 3 of those were mentioned in the press conference, which totals up
$200K, I think.
Yeah, she got $250. So that's $2.3 million right there. So that easily covers the buyout, and that was money I really hadn't thought about until later on in the
till the season. Talked about it.
Exactly,
it hadn't crossed my mind that they had saved the money for that reason.
I mean, the year Bobby coached us, we got him for free. He paid us $800,000. So we didn't pay him a salary, and we got $800,000 off of that. That's amazing.
It was basically, I can't get I can't get the Gamecast to pull up though. Sorry, I was trying to get the women's Gamecast scores to pull up real quick, but the
Matt's been tweeting it for the Tower Rack. It's 49-22 at the half.
Yep. But yeah, I was glad to see that. Of course, as it sounds bad, but if with this $2.35 million, we really need Helton to do well because we got lucky with this buyout. Another one, it's going to be hard times unless we can get another donor to donate $1 million.
Yeah, good luck.
I thought it was funny that Todd said every AD has a short list. Maybe he should send that to Tyree.
Yeah. No, Tyree did have a short list. It was Brom 7 times.
Exactly. Yeah, Ross said the same thing Jake did. I mean, of course, I have a lot more respect for Todd Stewart tonight than I did, this week, really, than I did, basically when I knew him on campus. But, it seems like he's made a lot of decisions that we all agreed with. You do not fire coaches midway through the season. You evaluate at the end of the season. And I was like, that's true. I completely agree. You don't want to fire them halfway through the season because that looks bad on you. Unless
you're Ken McDonald.
Yes. Yeah.
True. That was bad.
That was bad.
Yeah, that was
Why
bad.
did you remind me of him? Why?
So
Because we love to see you in pain, Jared.
that's what
why.
it is. That's what it is. Yeah.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Of course, we probably had one of the quickest turnarounds I've ever seen because honestly, I thought this was going to be at least a week or two before we had an announcement about who the coach was.
It's like less than 24 hours later. Like, oh hey, we got one.
Yeah, and Louisville's like, whoa.
Can I take a moment on that topic?
You go right ahead,
please
Ross.
go ahead. Lay out.
So I don't know if any of y'all even paid attention to the towel rack. It was literally 10 minutes before the Helton news came out. There was a little piece published called the Coaching Big Board 1.0. It's a 3,500-word masterpiece that took me about 4 hours to write.
Masterpiece. Okay.
For nothing. And, oh, man, it was gold. I mean, I even used Stone Cold A-hole when describing Bobby Petrino. And maybe 200 people clicked it. So
I hate to be bad, but I was in the majority that didn't click it, Ross. Sorry, buddy. It sounds bad, but I didn't even have a chance to read it because the announcement of, or the rumor mill was already going. So I was like, okay, well, don't worry about that. Just put Ross's piece on the back burner.
No, you gotta hit it and then just scroll all the way to the bottom real fast.
If I read it, I do the little clap thing, just
You
so
gotta
people.
spam it.
Yeah.
If I had a little IP address spoofer, I would just keep doing that.
So kind of the details of the contract. He's going to be basically making the same as he was as an offensive coordinator at Tennessee.
Sounds
He's
about right.
getting about $800,000 base salary with $400,000 of incentives. He made $1.2 million at UT as offensive coordinator. Of course, he does have different incentives throughout. Make it to a Year 6 bowl, which, by the way, would be crazy.
I think Sanford had that too.
Yeah, the contracts are really similar.
I think
Do we know the buyout yet?
Do we know the buyout? I have not seen that yet.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Of course, bowl games, he gets $50K. Conference champs, $50K. If he gets academic progress for his players over 950, basically, he gets $50K.
950. What's the min? Like 940?
I have no idea what our APR.
I think that
I thought it was finance, honestly.
Oh, like annual percentage rate? Yeah, no. So they have that's like their academic score, and I'm trying to remember because Bobby Petrino got a $500,000 or a $50,000 bonus for just meeting the minimum your players are actually eligible.
Now, see, that's one is the 950 to 969, and then there's another 50 for the 970 plus.
Okay.
And he gets 25 for selling 12,000 season tickets, and he gets another 25,000 for being Conference USA Coach of the Year.
Cool.
So he can make bank and I imagine next year's going to be sellout Houch. I just feel that coming. I don't know. That's just me.
They might try.
I think probably the year after.
You think the year after?
Next year it's incremental growth. Get to 5 to 7 wins, and then you really take off when a lot of those younger players are seniors. Like I guess Duncan, if he wins the job, he goes there and he'd be a senior that year. We'll see though.
Yeah, and there were some people that were kind of critical about it. Wasn't very many. It's probably the people that are also UT fans as well, that are Western fans, that said, "Oh, well, you didn't do very good at Tennessee. He almost got fired there. I don't know how well he's going to do here," and all that stuff. But I mean, if he does what he says he's going to do with the offense again, I mean, he's going to be bringing back that excitement that we've been lacking the past couple of seasons that we were used to when he was here with Grom and everything. So I think the excitement will definitely catch on, especially if he starts winning games early on. Not necessarily against some of the bigger places like Arkansas. I know that's a game that they have. That could be winnable, maybe.
Yeah, Arkansas is pretty
Louisville might be winnable.
We better get the Louisville game next year. I don't care who they hire, but we'll see.
Yeah, agree with both you guys. Arkansas, they're really down. I mean, North Texas beat them? And North Texas, were they first or no? Where were they ranked in the Conference USA?
I mean, they were winning.
They were technically second in the West after UAB, considering La Tech lost to us.
I don't think we know our cross division guys yet. So I think that will be the big kicker on our ceiling. So if you get UAB or Southern Miss or somebody like that, that might hamper our chances at really having a big season next year. But we'll see.
I think he's going to have a rough start next year. Who do you all? We'll do a little talk here and maybe do a write up later. Who do you want to start quarterback next year?
I'll go first.
I will down the Kavaris Thomas Hill. I am ready to see this man play.
Get that big boy the ball.
Okay, so we know Jared's. Ross, what do you think, bud?
And, we've got a running joke that Matt McKay hates this guy, but, I'm a big Stephen Duncan guy. I mean, obviously he makes mistakes, but that's, let's look at Dowdy's record. He had 15 and 15 that first year he started, 15 touchdowns, 15 interceptions the first year he started under Petrino, and then he blossomed. I think Sanford, obviously, his coaching was lacking for him, and really his confidence was lacking in him because despite leading us to a victory and almost beating a really good Marshall team, even though he fumbled at the end, the team played better when Duncan was a quarterback, even if he made mistakes. And I think you plug him in with a quarterback coach that's coached Sam Darnold, Dowdy, White, various others, Sam Hunt, funny.
Yeah, that is pretty funny.
And you put him with that, and you have a competent offense that's actually going to, improvise and push the ball downfield in tempo. I think Duncan's got the strength to do that. Thomas, I'd love to see, but I'm worried about him actually passing the ball. So
Thomas reminds me of the dude from The Longest Yard, that giant dude. Just because, and I don't know, he had one pass and it was intercepted. Is that right? Or tell me, Kavarius Thomas fanboy, do you know?
I don't even remember him.
I was eating pudding.
I know that he credit a whole bunch, and he did get that rushing touchdown against Charlotte, which I think that definitely led to Sanford's firing, just for the fact that Thomas was doing better than all of the other quarterbacks that game, and he plays them for maybe one possession in like 4 snaps, scores a touchdown, and then doesn't play him the rest of the game. I'm just like, what? What is this?
Thomas is a human bowling ball.
Thomas is a human wrecking ball. I'm going to go that far. That dude is huge
for his size. To be a quarterback. I mean, he kind of looks like a really big tight end, or but he's not super tall. He's just meaty. He's thick with like 3 C's. Like
he's a Frankenstein-esque. I mean, he's tall. He's stout looking.
He's got a cannon, though.
Gosh.
I mean, I think. I'm kind of torn out because when I started the season, I was like, okay, here's what you do, Mike Sanford. You know you're going to lose a bunch of games. So just ride the 4-star as hard as you can unless he's absolute hot garbage, which I don't know if he's hot garbage, but he's definitely a child, so maybe you don't put him in. I don't know if I have like a favorite who I think they should start next season, but I just want it to be consistent. And I don't think Helton will make the same mistake that Sanford did and try to like run 3 different guys in there. I honestly think since he recruited Duncan, which they've talked about ad nauseum now, that's probably going to be his go-to guy as long as he doesn't completely stink it up in the whatever quarterback battle that's going to happen in the off season. But if he goes with Duncan, unless he's just, and I don't mean tanks in the first game. I mean tanks like the first 3, like is just terrible. Stay with Duncan, get him some confidence. Like you cannot just pull guys in and out of the game and expect them to get in any kind of rhythm, to get any kind of confidence, to understand your offense. Like, I don't care how much you practice it, it's not game reps. It just doesn't count the same. So if you're going to put Duncan in there, whatever offense you're going to run, keep him in there until, something bad happens.
And that was my biggest gripe with Sanford. It was like, okay, we're going to play. We started with Eccles. Then we went to...
Which I get starting with Eccles. I get it.
He's the senior. He's
the
old
gets
guy.
Hurt. Yes. Okay, that happens.
Well, and Duncan had a DUI, too.
And Duncan had a DUI. I forgot about that.
It killed him having a shot early.
Completely agree. And then, of course, we go to Shanley, which Shanley... I want to see who's going to be the best coming out of spring. I want to see who Helton puts his money on. I want to see, after summer, pre-season camp or whatever you want to call it.
It all depends on what Helton's going to try to do with the offense, right? Because I think if you're going to go with a less run-heavy quarterback play, right?
Yeah.
Then, and I'm not saying that Shanley's not fast because we did see him, run really well. But I think he is your more prototypical quarterback. So if you want him to stand back there like a Mike White, okay, then go with Shanley. But if you want a guy who's going to be able to do a little bit of power run, which we know Duncan can do, then stick with Duncan. And then just so there's something, and I wanted to bring this up before we get into any basketball or anything, but I was looking at some tweets. They've got all the former players are talking about Helton. We love Helton. We love Helton. He's great. Well, Lamp tweeted something that was awesome. He said, "Yeah, he's a really sharp guy. He takes what he's got and he wins with it. He's not stuck in his ways." And I was like, "Oh, burn!"
Yeah, it's kind of one of those that it wasn't necessarily directed toward.
Maybe not, but
it was sure, pretty. It was. I'll give it to you.
Sure sounds like it. Sure sounds like it.
And it may not been, but it did seem pretty.
I mean, I retweeted it because I thought it was awesome. Because I think it's funny.
Completely agree. So, Jared met.
Can I give a?
You go right ahead.
Can I give a quick?
Go ahead, Ross.
Thought on the Helton hire. Just two. I got 2 points.
You go right ahead.
Number one, we talked how awesome Stewart was in this situation. Let's be honest. At the end of the day, Helton was the guy that you should have hired 2 years ago. You wouldn't have had the transition, the switching systems, everything else. Helton would have been that guy 2 years ago. Sure. Made the mistake, and you know what? He made swift action to correct that before it was too late. Kudos to him. Point number two would be the Tennessee fans the Tennessee Dual fans and the people who are scared about his 1 year at Tennessee. Like that, he improved their offense from the Butch Jones dumpster fire last year to this year. But B, Tennessee had no offensive line. They had a defensive rookie head coach who didn't know what the heck he wanted to do, and they didn't have any playmakers. And his quarterbacks actually went 15-5 touchdown to interception ratio. So that to me screams he probably just wasn't a great fit there for what Jeremy Pruitt wanted to do, and we shouldn't hold that against him. And he's going to be coaching against Conference USA defenses. So I think it's gonna be a great marriage, and it's just great to realize, hey, we went away from what made us special, and I love the Taggart area, but we really went to the next level with Braum, and we're getting back to it, and that's exciting. And any fan that's crazy or scared because of that one little year at Tennessee, I'm just not buying it.
Well, of course, our offensive line, I won't say is better than Tennessee's as far as talent goes, but I think they've got a little more experience this year. They got a lot more experience than they did Sanford's first year. And, I mean, Western's fate until we actually, make it big to the Power 5 or whatever, our fate is going to be either coaches are going to turn out like Sanford or they're going to turn out like Braum. Either they're going to succeed and they're going to go on to another school, or they're going to fail and we're going to have to get rid of them and get somebody else.
Well, don't reinvent the wheel if it's going good. I think Sanford would have been good if he was taking over, like when Elson was turning over the program, or Taggart was starting out, or whatever. He would have been great in a situation like that because he could have been given time to grow. We couldn't accept that for where we were and what he turned us into because we couldn't afford having a 33-year-old coach who didn't know what the heck he was doing.
Yeah.
Completely agree.
Mic drop.
Yep, mic drop. So
literally.
Yeah. Well, Jared, you met Coach Helton. What do you think?
That is correct. I got to go to the press conference and everything yesterday. It was really cool. It was the second one I've been to. I went to Sanford's too. And I feel like there was more people at Helton's too, for what that's worth. But it was really neat. I mean, he just seems like a really nice, kind of laid-back guy. I think he's going to run probably a pretty loose ship for the most part. I mean, he kind of said that in his press conference, too, talking about how Braum, like, if he told somebody to come over to where he's at, they would come immediately or whatever for something. And then, like, if he says that I'm more the kind of the guy that's like, I say, hey, come here. And then, like, if they don't come immediately, he's still going to kind of tell them what they need to hear anyways. But I really like his demeanor. It was the first time I've ever seen the man talk. So that was interesting. And he just seems like a really good guy. I think, he's going to bring back the excitement that we used to have with the air raid offense for the most part. We'll see how everything kind of works out with that. But he was the guy that I was hoping we would get in the first place. I mean, that's what I said Sunday when we recorded the really short thing. So we'll see. He was really cool.
I mean, his first words in that press conference that I saw were, "Well, guys, I tell you what," and I was like, "Yes, we got a redneck back."
Well, folks, I tell you what.
I tell you what. I was like, yes.
You know what? That just tickles me because he was just at Tennessee. I mean, that's kind of redneck capital,
and he's a
right?
Florida guy, so it's just like...
Yep.
I will say the main thing that I initially doubted him for was saying that Bowling Green was the best communities that he's lived in since he was like going between coaches. But I mean, he did live in Los Angeles and Knoxville, so I will give him credit and say that checks out.
Yeah. Which
Bless his heart.
Jared's point is that is that every coach should come to Bowling Green because they have the highest restaurants.
Yeah, because you can get fat here real easy.
Yes, basically.
Absolutely. Most restaurants per capita in the United States, Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Which, Jared, I'm not sure that's actually true, man.
I can't...
It used to be. It was true at one point. It was true.
You know
You're
what?
so emphatic about
Get
that.
your facts out of here. No one wants to hear that.
I can't cite my sources, but gosh darn it.
You know, what tickles me the most is Jared hadn't had cheddars.
I have had cheddars. I
You ate
just
there
was
once.
not the biggest fan of it.
The
Ooh, I
biggest
just got
chicken
followed by
tenders you'll ever
Travis
eat.
Hilton right now on Twitter, you guys. I'm pretty hyped.
Yes. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing in the background as I let you all talk. And I actually followed Coach Helton, so I don't know how that's going to turn out.
Pretty
Somehow
well.
It's gonna be like, the heck
Travis
is
Hilton
this?
followed me.
What did he say?
Travis Helton followed Ross. That dude just must be everywhere as far as following people goes.
Yeah.
He's got quite a mustache.
Yes,
It's a good mustache.
Yes, it's very,
It's an excellent
very,
mustache.
it's a very Tennessee.
Did you guys see the tweet that I had just now with the towel rack, though, talking about the new coach that Louisville will get?
Yes,
Yeah, that was
and
awesome.
that's
I was really proud of that.
That was good.
More so than I should be.
It's pretty solid.
I love it, but the mustache. I love the mustache because I was just like, really. So let's move to basketball real quick. I mean, we've kind of covered a lot of football tonight, and I think that's kind of what everybody wants to hear is football. So, Lady Tops beat East Tennessee State 82-68. And then they fell to Gonzaga
Not surprising.
76-55, which, yeah, I mean, that's not surprising at all, but
It still stinks.
it stinks. I wish the Tops could have at least scored 60. How are they doing tonight?
So currently... Oh,
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, as of 1 minute ago, they are leading 63-30.
Okay.
That's 3:15 left in the third quarter.
63.
Morgan State.
Morgan State. Okay.
Which
First-
state is that?
Who knows?
Morgan,
Maryland.
Morgan. Duh. Thanks, Jared.
It's in Maryland.
It's in Maryland. Okay, thanks, Ross.
Dude, Jerry just plays loose and fast with
There we
facts,
go.
man. He's like,
There we go.
screw it.
There we go. And how much time did you say they have left? I can't even get the game cast.
There's
to
3
work
minutes
on
left in the
ESPN.
third quarter, so they still got one more quarter to go.
Okay. And if you are on Twitter, follow the Towel Rack. One of our reporters on the ground, Matt McKay, is there tweeting it out. So
Has he got the baby with him?
I don't know.
Baby
Which-
at home?
God bless him.
God bless him is
I love
right.
Lady Tops, but I don't think I can go to as many games as he does regularly, especially against Morgan State.
Well, not only that, but dude brings an infant with him.
Yeah, which has headphones and does it's rude and inappropriate look every time something comes up.
Dude, that's my favorite when he told us that
Yes.
he was watching a game or something and she had the headphones on. He yelled and he said she just jerked them like a dead sleep. He was like, oh my god, what's going on?
And she looked at him like, "Do you mind?"
Like, I'm trying to sleep.
Lady Tops play again Saturday at 6:30 Eastern, so that's 5:30 Central. They play Arkansas Little Rock. Then they,
Old Sunbelt matchup.
I was about to
Yeah.
say, that sounds familiar. That's Sunbelt, ain't it?
I guess so. I didn't know Little Rock was in the Sun Belt, but
I think so, yeah.
I've been out of the Sun Belt too long. Then we play Bellarmine like a week later, so the Tops have a long break there till they play again. They play that'd be next Saturday on the 8th at 3 o'clock, 2 p.m. Eastern. But it looks like the Tops are going to pull this out tonight unless
God.
something happens.
Unless a plane crashes into Dill.
Yes, yeah. And it only hits our bench.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what it would take. Watch us say that now, and they lose by 2 in like a last-second 3-point buzzer beater or some crap. That would be so bad.
It would be. It would be so horrendous. But
Speaking of horrendous, what about the Indiana State loss?
You know,
I just love, nobody said a word. They just went, oof, woof, whew.
yes.
That's how bad it was. It doesn't deserve words. It deserves noises.
Yes.
I'm really fortunate I didn't get to see it. I was in a wedding, so that was... It's bad that I would rather be in a wedding than see the game. Let's just put it that way.
Your eyeballs, thank you. I watched probably the last 10 minutes of the game while I was at the UKU of L tailgate. Threw it on my phone, and the same problems we've had all season. No offensive flow. I read an analysis on one of the message boards or whatever, and we played fine defensively. I mean, I think they had some guys hitting threes, but we literally could not score. Couldn't get the ball into Bassey. Couldn't do anything. And I think because of that, you know, Stansbury's hit the reset button. He said, "Josh Anderson, you're not playing the point guard anymore." So,
which I thought was an interesting experiment to begin with, because I mean, maybe it's just me, but I don't recall last year seeing flashes of excellence that would lead me to believe Anderson needed to run point. Like, absolutely. Power at the 3, at the 2, a really good kind of like energy guy who maybe if he got a jump shot down could really do some damage. But I just didn't think he would be a point guard. And then when he started him as point, like, what has happened in the offseason? Nothing, apparently. He just didn't have anything else to turn to.
Yeah. You know, I think that was a desperation
Bearden, come
play.
back.
Yes, we definitely need Bearden back.
And Banton learned to be a better point guard.
Yeah. Apparently they're having tryouts, and Jared is going to go try out for the point guard position.
Right.
So
he promises to pass the ball and go 1 from 27 for 3.
Yeah, at
I'll
least.
remember you guys when I'm in the league, I promise.
Yes.
So how bad does this loss hurt our at-large chances? Let's be honest.
There was no at-large chance to begin with, in my opinion. I mean, that's going to be so hard, especially with the new net system. I don't know if you guys have seen that yet.
Yes,
but they had
It's such a small sample size.
one.
I think
on
you
one of
avoid
the ones that they had.
the bad
so
losses like that. Then you let's say you beat West Virginia, Arkansas, Wisconsin. They could have easily had that large to see their spot.
I mean, it's going to depend on how they play the rest of the season. Beginning at the start of the season, I thought at-large was possible if you could go out and get 2 out of the 3 what I consider big wins. Right? I'm sorry, Arkansas. I have no idea about your basketball program. I assume it's not that good.
5-1 right now.
Really?
Beat Indiana, yeah.
First off, congrats, because
Yeah.
I like when Romeo Langford loses because I think he's overrated. But I thought that if you could get out of the West Virginia, the Wisconsin, the St. Mary's, if you could get the West Virginia and the St. Mary's, or just not lose, 2 of those, and then not suffer a bad conference, like another bad loss, either out or in conference, right? Like, don't lose to Missouri State, don't lose to, God, I don't know who's bad in conference this year.
I
don't
UTSA.
Yeah, like don't lose to the Raging Road Runners and you can have an at-large shot coming in at like the 11 and 12 range. Now, if you do not so now you got to beat all the Power 5 non-cons, right? Or Power 6 if you count St. Mary's. So you got to win all those, and you cannot suffer a devastating loss. But it all does depend, I think. So let's say West Virginia turns it around and just starts nailing people. Okay, looks a lot better. But I still don't think at this point it's likely. I think it's theoretically possible. It's just like a 1 in a million shot at this point.
And I'd also like to say that right now St. Mary's has the same record as Western, so it's not like they're doing very good this year either, in terms of what they usually are.
Right, so it's one of those things, like even if you go in
Belmont, on the other hand, is turned into St. Mary's, so, I mean...
Yeah, that Belmont's
that's
always
a meat
a
grinder
game.
down there in Nashville.
Which, by the way, considering that Western, for some reason, cannot learn to defend the three-point shot, I mean, I know that Indiana State did not score a lot of points, but they shot 50% from 3. And the team we're about to play shoots only about 33% from 3, but they take a stupid amount of 3 shots. Like, they had a game earlier in this year, so Tennessee State, right, where out of their, 61 shots, 35 of them were from 3.
Yeah.
What is it with these Nashville schools and just shooting threes relentlessly?
I don't know. So their top three, they have three scorers that average double digits. I'm not even going to go into who they are because I don't care. One of them shoots almost 40% from three. Another one shoots almost, this is going to blow your mind, 70% from three.
Wow.
Like, no lie, I'm sitting there looking at their stats, and he shoots .691 from the arc currently. Now, he's only averaging
Tennessee State's not very good, but they did cover the spread against Kentucky.
They did, so good for them, but it just always, one of the things, it's a bugaboo of a Stansbury defense for some reason when he's been at Western, is not being able to defend the three. And I know we said against Indiana State, we're like, we've only got two guys that score in double digits, and we ought to roll over them, and then we played hot garbage, and we lost. So, in my mind, it is not out of the realm of possibility to suck it up and allow them to shoot 62% from three and drop this one. Like, should they? No. Do I think they will? No. But again, I think it's in the realm of possibility, and we need to reevaluate how the team is playing right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think Charles Bassey's going to have several rebounds at least for the three. I don't know if you
What about Jared's piece? Jared, what do you think that's really wrong with this team?
Well, in the article I just had on the Telrec and everything, I've mostly just talked about what I saw were the main issues, and we're kind of dissecting what's kind of gone wrong early this season. And it just all stems from the youth of the team, honestly. Just the lack of experience the majority of the players have, the lack of consistency they have playing together. They haven't had much time to do that. We have two seniors on the team. Bearden is currently out, and Deshaun Murray, he transferred in this year, so this is his first year under Stansbury and everything, too. So that's been an adjustment, plus all the returning players we have and the freshmen. That was the main thing that I see as kind of the issue, is that when you have a young player, they're not going to be very consistent. And the more inconsistent players you have like that, just the more inconsistency there's going to be overall, especially defensively, too. I mean, I've seen a lot of missed assignments and, of course, the three-point issues that still remain. So, I mean, the youth is the main issue. Once these players actually kind of figure out what the heck they're doing, like Banton. I mean, Bassey's been pretty consistent for the most part. I know the Valpo game he didn't do too good, but especially once he gets that knee brace off, too, that's going to help a lot. But the bench especially, we've only had, one game where the bench had 10 total points, which is pretty bad.
Yep. And that's one thing that is paining me a little bit, is I thought coming in this season that we weren't going to have the depth issues as far as, production, right? We're bringing in some of these talented freshmen. We've got some guys coming in that were transfer JUCO level stuff. Now we've got some suspensions. We've got an injury. Had a guy leaving the offseason, so that plays a toll. But I always thought that, I was hopeful that Horton and Smith would be more productive than they have been so far. Now I know that Toulouse has had some good outings and some good support. Biggest surprise for me. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say that I knew Jared Savage was going to be good. I wasn't prepared for how much of a scorer he was going to be.
I tried to tell y'all. I tried to tell you how good not Jared. God, what's his name?
Jared Savage?
Yeah, it's Jared Savage.
It is Jared Savage. I'm sorry. Jared the Savage was going to be, but y'all didn't listen to me. But hey.
Of course, I thought he was going to be. Maybe I just wasn't paying enough attention. I knew he was a scoring first type of guy, but I had hopes that he could be a decent backup at the point, but I was wrong, I guess. So,
quick question about WKU basketball.
Sure.
We're 6 games in the season. Jake Omer has 0 points. What the heck happened to this kid, man?
Dude, I don't know. I don't know if it's because he feels like he's been recruited over or what, but he lost whatever mojo he had in the early of last season. Because the Purdue game, SMU, there were games where he was just unstoppable. And now it doesn't seem like he could pay for a basket.
It's pretty bad.
Well, my favorite... this may sound bad, but when you got a small white guard, you know what you do? You run them into the center.
Shoot the three.
Well, not only that, but you draw fouls with them. That's like that kid from Wisconsin, who everybody hates, who flopped 6 times in their last game. Did you guys see that montage?
Oh, that was awful.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what you do when you have a small white guard who shoots. Every once in a while, use him to assault people to get fouls. That's what you do. And we did that last year. He ran into bigger defensive players and drew a lot of fouls and shot well from the free throw line. And now, I mean, I think that's what you should do with him right now, simply because I think it would build his confidence to score some points. But I don't know. Like, I know he's a defensive liability, but golly.
15 against Purdue, 9 against SMU last year, 12 Ohio, 12 Wisconsin, and then 12 against Marshall early, and it hasn't had a double-digit game since. Hasn't scored since the 8 points against USC in the second round of NIT last year. So that's literally 8 games he hasn't scored a single point. I think he's lost all confidence.
Yeah, and how do you get it back?
Make a shot.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you got to put him in situations to do that. And like I said, he's a defensive liability, and if he's not scoring points, and we got guys that can score points, I do think it's difficult from a coaching standpoint to get him back in a groove. I mean, let's be honest, he's going to transfer, right? Like, it's what it looks
become
like.
a walk-on.
Yeah.
Yeah, well...
And with the scholarship situation, he may already be one.
I was going to say, can you downgrade somebody to a walk-on?
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that would be...
Yeah, you can move him up and down.
There is a rumor around football that somebody got downgraded the last week of practice, and I think that's BS if that's true.
It happens. It happens all the time.
Well...
It does suck, though.
It does suck for the kids.
Yeah.
Because...
it's like, oh, my college paid for it? Oh, my college isn't paid for it. Huh, good.
The ones I always hated for are the ones that get career-ending injuries, and the coaches are like, we can't afford to keep this.
Yeah, that stinks.
And
yeah.
it's like, that ain't his fault. But, you know.
Yeah, who put him in that situation?
It is what it is. Yeah, Jake's let his computer go to sleep. There we go. It's all good.
I get on a rant.
Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all
using
good.
small white guards as foul producers, whatever.
Yeah.
It's a good strategy.
Yeah.
Why didn't we hack a Shaq taco foul? I mean, Horton could have been just 5 easy fouls there. That would have been nice.
That's true. That's true. Though I'm not necessarily sure it was Taco that beat us. I think it was probably closer to the 50% we allowed from 3.
Yeah, it was the coach's son that beat us.
The coach's son. I didn't know Dabo coached that team. I'm glad Ross got the one chuckle.
There we go.
No, well,
Yep.
Devin's over here playing with Travis Helton's Twitter, so
I am not.
You know what? Okay, so basketball, we're going to play East Tennessee, or not East Tennessee. We're going to play Tennessee State. We better beat them. If we don't, I don't know. Everybody's going to be real pissed, and we're going to try to.
It's at home. I'm not worried about that. I think the next Tuesday or when we play Missouri State, which will be before you guys record again, if we don't come out ready to win that game, then we know where we're going to be this season. You can right the ship. You can write off one bad loss. But if they don't come out ready on the road in Springfield, Missouri, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, it is.
Then we'll know where we stand. So
I've actually been to Springfield, Missouri.
What's in Springfield, Missouri?
Missouri. They used to be Southwest Missouri State, and then they changed it to Missouri State. But we played them in football this fall of 2006, and I got to go.
Gateway Conference.
Yes, it was. It was a god-awful trip. One of our, quote, star receivers, Curtis Hamilton, dislocated his elbow, and I got to awkwardly help him get dressed. Which, by the way, if you're the male trainer, that's your job.
Help him get dressed?
Yeah, if you're the student male trainer, you're supposed to help them shower, which is me standing outside holding the towel, because I ain't going in there, I'm sorry. And then you help them get dressed, which is you with your back to them trying to grab their shorts because you don't want to be like, you know.
Get eyeful.
Yeah, no.
They're not shy.
Well, I mean, it's kind of part of being an athlete.
I picture you in that, what was that movie with Owen Wilson, Hall Pass, like when they get in the hot tub? I picture that was you, Devin.
It probably was. Yeah. I can't think of the specific scene you're talking about, but yeah.
Don't make eye contact.
Yeah, exactly. So that's all I've got. Do you guys have anything else for basketball?
Not really. We'll see what happens to it's Saturday. Whatever day it is.
Words
yeah, it's
hard.
Saturday.
Words, yes.
Words, the English, it is the difficult.
I think we should brag on
It's
Jared
another
for
Travis
his...
Helton moment.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to start calling those, just Travis Helton moments.
That's right.
Yes. I think we should brag on Jared's piece a little bit. It was a masterpiece. It was a beautiful piece written.
And Ross can go eat it because his was relevant. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not. I didn't say that about Ross's piece. I think Ross's piece was well written, of course.
Well written, but again, he's beating around the bushes.
It's
It
bad
was
timing.
irrelevant.
It was who knew that Western was going to hire that quickly though? Nobody bet on that. Nobody bet on that. I honestly, Ross, I feel for you, buddy. I really do. Because that would have been my luck. I would have written that entire thing, and about 5 minutes after it published, they would have already hired. And I'd be like, son of a biscuit. Yeah, biscuit because we're on iTunes. But
right, that family-friendly rating, bro.
That's right, bro.
You don't hit that big E button for explicit.
No,
we're trying to keep it clean so we get bigger audience,
more views. But we don't have to say bruh anymore. We can say house.
Yeah, house. That's our new word now since bra has finally left.
Yeah.
So I guess tonight we'll talk uniform changes because
this is literally I thought of it on the drive over here, and I have thoughts on football uniforms like all the time. So.
Which is the most weird thing, and I, as a football person, do not think about that.
Dude, I love, like, cool... Because, here's, like, when we switched to Nike, I was really excited because, A, it helps in recruiting, and B, I like Nike gear. Now, I like Under Armour gear better, but I understand from a recruiting aspect, like, Nike's the top dog right now.
As long as it's not Adidas, yeah.
I mean, I don't hate Adidas, but... and the kids don't hate Adidas, but still...
No, it pays well.
Absolutely it does. Both illegally and legally.
Exactly.
Get that money.
But, of course, I have no real thoughts on uniform changes. The only thing I would like to add to the uniform is either put Cherry in there somewhere. You know, like if it's like
Russell uniform.
Yeah, well, was he on the uniform?
Well, it was like the cupola of Cherry Hall.
That would be cool. Yeah.
That was like faded into
that's
their
something
stuff.
that I think would be really cool too. Yeah.
If we could do the cupola like you said, or the bell tower. Yeah. If we could do the bell tower and something, that would be really cool too, I think.
So for me, the two things that I would like to see worked in, and I know they can do it because I've seen this prototypes. I love matte gear. I love matte colored stuff.
Yes.
So I don't know if you guys remember. And I can't remember which. It was one of the young quarterbacks. It might have been Duncan. I don't recall. Somebody shared on their Twitter, like, year and a half, 2 years ago, some helmets they had, and there was a matte red helmet. And I would absolutely love to see a matte red helmet with... I don't care about the uniform combo necessarily, but I absolutely love matte colors on things that are typically, like, shiny. So, like, when we introduced the Chrome Domes, I was really excited because at the time, other than, like, Oregon, nobody had them. They were kind of on the cutting edge of stuff. Like, I like Louisville's red Chrome Domes. Like, I think those look good. So I really love the Chrome, but as I saw, like, somebody who did a really good job was Army a couple years ago. Army has a really cool black, like, matte black helmet with, like, almost like a skull and, like almost like a skull and crossbones looking thing. Like, love that with like a blackout uniform. So I think it would be super duper cool for Western to go to a matte helmet, and I don't mean all the time, but just break it out every once in a while. And again, we have the generic, like, I hate to say it, we have like generic Nike jersey number 7 right now because we are one of the smaller schools that like that has Nike. So I would like to see them either do something cool with the gloves, where like they form like a little big red or like something.
No, they gotta form the towel. You gotta do the towel,
or form the towel like with the gloves, or do something that's just a little bit interesting, even if it's not like Nike necessarily providing like a whole line of them. I'd like to see them work it back in because I loved that Western, because they were in town with Fruit, was kind of one of the prototype schools for uniforms. Like, the last one they had, I wasn't a big fan of the stripes on the arm. A lot of people did the little stripe on the sleeve. I didn't think it looked good. But they have done some really cool stuff, and I'd really love to see a little bit more creativity come back into the uniforms again. But for sure, my number one thing that I'd have is a matte red helmet, because I think it look flies all get out. I love them.
Jared, what do you think, bud?
I kind of agree with what you said with like the chrome red that Louisville has, like the black cherry chrome. I really like that a lot, even though, I mean, I hate Louisville, but I mean, it is what it is. Something like that. Even like the matte black, I really like that look a lot on helmets too. I think I've seen a prototype of like one that it looks like Big Red that was just like hilarious. Like it has his eyes on the sides of the helmet and just red everything, and it says like the WKU like behind the jersey number and stuff. I thought that was really funny. That could be interesting. So, I mean, that's all I really have. I agree with, like, the matte look. I really, really like that as well.
I think that would be really cool.
What do you think, Ross?
Jared kind of stole my thunder a little bit. The big red on the helmet was my number one thing. Just as an alternate, fun thing, I think we all offer it. I mean, best mascot ever. The other thing I would like to do, maybe not now, but in 4 years, whenever the anniversary comes, do the 0-2 throwbacks. The year we won the 1AA national title, where we kind of had the janky Reebok jerseys with the WKU vertical and the numbers on one side of the helmet. I would love to go back to that just for it's. I do not love those uniforms at all, but I think it'd be funny in 4 years, just as how much stuff has changed in 20 years in comparison. So
I do like that. I like anything that's nostalgia throwback, even if because you see some of these schools and even some of these NFL teams, right? Doing the throwback uniforms that are ugly as sin, but they're cool because they're throwback, because they're historical. So I'd be on board with that. But the big red helmet,
does that mean 40 years from now, Western's going to wear the Sunbelt jerseys we had?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, that would be pretty funny.
So A&M wore their 98 throwbacks, and they had the BCS sticker on the jersey. I thought that was kind of cool.
That is cool. I like that.
Yeah. I do like like you've been saying, the W on the helmet. I like that.
The flying W was cool. I like the wing W they put out this year. That was pretty neat.
So is the chrome done?
I don't know.
Do you retire the chrome?
Helton was there when the chrome started. I do not see that being done. I think until it becomes UK pretty much copied Western down to a T on their jerseys against Louisville. They had even more chromed out dome. I think it's still our calling card, and if we're trying to go back to the Braum years and all that success, that was a part of it. Even though I don't think it really mattered when it came to the play on the field, but there was a little bit of swagger with that back in the day.
And you just reminded me of one somehow, but I think we've had white ones before that were really a pearl color. It was not just your plain regular white, but it looked sort of like a pearl and is kind of sparkly. That looks really cool.
Sparkly pearl with big red on there. Let's do it.
Yes.
I would love that. I still can't get over if we made Big Red's head with the eyes on the helmet. I haven't seen that. That would
be awesome.
That would make me so could you imagine the ESPN morning show doing the uni breakdown and look what WKU's doing today. These crazy boogers they put even better googly eyes.
Yeah, you got to do the googly eyes.
Googly eyes.
Yes, you got to do that.
That would be so good.
But can we do an angry Big Red? And then have the black grill, black face mask. And then, that would scare kids.
That would scare children.
I would be fine with scaring children.
Big Red is kind of scary.
Big Red scares children enough as it is, just regularly, so I couldn't imagine that.
Dude, if Big Red could eat kids and poop them out, I would laugh so hard.
That would be an excellent trick.
If there was a little
chute
tunnel, a chute, yeah, and he would literally put them in his mouth and just poop out kids. I would laugh.
Could you
so
imagine
hard.
the type of psychoses that you would start though? If you didn't they go up and ask the parent, hey, can Big Red grab your kid and poop him out? Which to my ex would be yes, please do this with my child. That would be amazing. Can you do that with me?
Yes, they probably could do that with you.
Probably,
you're so small.
That's true. I'm not
that
a
would
big
be
fella.
really funny.
But could you just imagine being a 5-year-old and just walk by a Big Red dude then actually eats you?
Oh my gosh. This
So then they would actually poop.
Travis Helton has just made me just so happy right now.
Devin's found his calling.
Creating parody
You're welcome,
accounts.
by the way.
Yes. Yeah, it's completely Jared's idea. Do y'all have anything else?
I'm good.
Last thing I want to say, shout out Franklin Simpson High School playing in state championship game against
Just
Johnson
gonna
Central.
turn you down real quick.
Third time in Lexington Saturday.
Just turn
Go
you
Wildcats. Let's go get that another state championship.
Turn off the Franklin Simpson. Sorry, just gotta turn them down.
This is coming from the ACS boys.
Yes.
So he doesn't like Franklin Simpson at all.
Yeah, Allen County. Sorry, had to turn you off, Jared.
Boo.
East is out of
Boo
it.
this man.
Yes.
My alma mater lost to South Warren last week in the semifinals.
Everybody loses to South Warren. Don't feel bad.
Yeah.
Franklin.
Yeah, South Warren is just...
They're real good.
They're a super team. Of course, I didn't have to worry about that back
What
in
is the dichotomy of that? Which schools broke off from that to give that school? Because when I was in college, it was, the...
Greenwood.
The four... Greenwood. So Greenwood, they cycled all green. Did they take any Bowling Green kids?
So here's I can tell you exactly what happened.
Jake can tell you because he lived it.
So when South Warren got built, Greenwood was kind of overpopulated. That was the point of it. Well, a lot of what happened was when that broke off, the school was very, 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 and it's still a very nice school. And if you guys know anything about county school politics, you can kind of finagle your way in. Bowling Green does that quite a bit with some scholarship money. You can kind of pay to go there. And so South Warren essentially siphoned off most of the talent from the rest of Warren County and some from Bowling Green. And kids, they would kind of, I don't want to say pay, but they made certain moves so that the kids could go to South Warren, so you could kind of almost recruit, almost like a private school. Bowling Green is still a big player, but since Kevin Wallace started losing at St. X, which good, I hate Kevin Wallace.
He's a good person, and his son Ryan Wallace is a good guy too. But
he's a turd.
But see, I know Ryan, so and he's
maybe
a good guy.
maybe Ryan's a good dude.
Yeah, Ryan's a good dude. But correct me if I'm wrong. They got Greenwood, and then they got some of Central because they built on Nashville Road right there.
Yeah, so they siphoned off the southern end of the county, and that got a lot of talent combined with being a school where a lot of the best teachers are going, and all the money went there. It's right near Joey Richards Elementary School. Like, it's on the up-and-coming side of the county, so lots of people move there. So, yeah, they out Bowling Green.
That is... Check Ross. See if Ross is still going.
Hey, Ross, you there, bud?
I don't think so, because
I think
he just tried
Ross.
to call us.
Oh, no.
No. Connection lost again.
Yes.
Well, Ross needs to quit calling in on his potato.
True, that's what it sounds like.
He lives in a...
Potato?
Yes.
Ross, do you live in a potato?
Hey, I'm back. Recording from my basement office. This is funny for the end of the episode.
That's good. We've got 2 missed calls from Ross, so that's good. I literally just saw it popped up on my watch, and I was like, oops, I guess we lost Ross.
He was like, check Ross. I was like, what? I just thought he was letting me pontificate there on Warren County High School sports politics.
Yeah, so...
Well, I'm going to have to listen to the second half of that later when we publish this.
South Warren out Bowling Green to Bowling Green. That's all you got to know.
Basically, yep. Where did you go to school, Ross?
South Oldham High School, right outside of Louisville. So east end of Louisville. So
nicer side of Louisville, yeah. Jake can talk about that because he used to live on the east side a little bit. So
I lived in Linden. It's all right.
Yeah, it's nice little.
That's right up the road from me.
Yeah, I lived right off of 264 in Linden, and that was after I moved from Westport Road, which was not as nice.
No,
still not bad.
It just depends.
I was across from the Ford factory, if that tells you anything.
Oh, that's right down. Yeah, I guess by Chamberlain Lane. Yeah, that's
it was
literally 2 miles from my house. So it's kind of funny.
Wow, small world.
Louisville's the biggest small town on earth. Let's be honest.
It absolutely is.
The state of Kentucky is the largest small town. I mean, really. I mean, everybody knows everybody at some point.
We're the only state that's like, not what city are you from? What county are you from?
Exactly. Yeah. You're right. I mean, and I knew a lot of people that went to Western, and they were like, we're from out of state, and they're like, why do y'all do that? And it's like,
we don't have cities.
Yeah, really, people don't want to be from that city unless you live in Louisville, Lexington, or Bowling Green. You don't say that. And of course, Hardin County they do because everything is a city up here.
Well, I mean, heck, I would always. Where are you from? Bowling Green.
Well, yeah, but you tell them Bowling Green. But if I'm talking to somebody in Kentucky, they'd be like, "Where are you from?" I'd say Allen County.
Or then you say you're from the county because you are from the county. Well, you are. You're not from.
I had a bunch of buddies from Logan County in college, and they were always like, "From Logan."
We're from Logan. That's right, Halls.
We're from Logan. You're descended from Wolverine. Is that what you're telling me?
That's what you're telling us. You have claws that come out of your hands.
Awesome.
That's really cool.
Can we be friends?
I need you for bar fights.
Don't.
All right. So we're going to wrap this up, guys. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Redout1906. Follow us on iTunes, Instagram. We're not on Instagram. Twitter.
We don't have Instagram.
Subscribe on iTunes.
Exactly.
There will be an account by the time that this is up, right?
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
maybe.
We'll have to do that. Of course, I don't even have Instagram.
Travis Helton Instagram account as well.
Yes.
Now that we could do. That we could help with.
Yes, we can definitely get that. But the easiest way, guys, is for y'all to subscribe. Either click the link on YouTube or subscribe on iTunes, and you'll automatically get the download of our podcast, of our latest stuff. Sometimes our stuff goes a little long, so if you want to listen to the clips, go for it. But as always, go Tops.
Go Tops.
Go Tops.